Good morning, friend. Welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Kat, and if you're new here, we've been baking our way through Some of My Best Friends Are Cookies by Emelia Jackson. Today's recipe is Levain style malt chocolate chip biscuits. So these are going to be interesting. We'll see if we like them. So in this bowl, you just saw me put my 2 sugars. So we've got brown sugar and white sugar in here. So it's 120 grams of brown sugar and 75 grams of white sugar. And to that, we're adding 125 grams of butter. And this butter is still cold. I'm not sure why this recipe specifies that the butter should be chilled, but it does. So that's what we're going to do. I am just going to cut it into smaller pieces just so that it has a bit of an easier time combining. So we're just going to mix this together until it's combined. It says not to cream it, just to combine it. So that's mixed. And to this, we're going to add 1 egg and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I just used my half teaspoon measure. We're just going to mix this in. So to this, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of baking powder. I'm using my 1/4 teaspoon measure because I just used my half teaspoon in my vanilla. 75 grams of malted milk powder. So this would be something like Horlicks or something. I did look for Horlicks because I know that my husband and I used to like that when we lived in England. But my supermarket didn't have it, so I just got a generic brand. So 75 grams of malted milk powder and 280 grams of plain flour. So we're just going to mix this together and then add in 150 grams of chocolate chips. So I only had 130 grams of dark, so I just added 20 grams of milk. I'm sure that'll be fine. And 125 grams of what is supposed to be hazelnuts. I am all out of hazelnuts, so I'm using peanuts today. So this is the size of dough ball we're supposed to use for these biscuits. This is going to be absolutely huge, probably way too big for my family's preference. So I've got my 13 biscuits. This one is a little bit smaller than the rest, but that's fine. That's the one I'll just use for my taste test. And we are going to bake these at 160 degrees for about 15 minutes. So in this bowl, I've got 50 grams of milk chocolate chips and 25 grams of nuts, which we're going to sprinkle onto the biscuits when they're still warm, once they come out of the oven. So these have cooled on the trays. I probably wouldn't bother sprinkling the extra chocolate chips and nuts on the top next time. They just didn't stick and then ended up melting on the pan, so I had to scrape them up and sort of push them on. But they do look pretty good. So let's give them a try. They are nice. I can't really taste the malt in them. I don't know that they're that much better than a regular chocolate chip biscuit, but they are quite nice. I'm sure that they will definitely get eaten, probably in about 2 days, because there's only 12 of them now that I've eaten the little one. But yeah, they're nice, but nothing that unusual about them, in my opinion. Thanks for being here as we made the second recipe in our second chapter of Emelia's cookbook. If you like, I'll pop another video here that you can enjoy between now and my next upload. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Can't wait to see you next time. Bye for now.